Next session is on building a resilient workforce, fostering mental and emotional agility in employees by Mr. Akshaya Kashyap, Chief People Officer at Future Generali India Insurance Company Limited. Can we have a big round of applause for Mr. Kashyap? As Chief People Officer with nearly 2 decades of HR experience, Akshaya is dedicated to fostering organizational success by empowering its most valuable asset, its people. His expertise in HR best practices and exceptional communication skills enable him to align HR strategies with business objectives, driving employee productivity and engagement through structured talent management and development programs. Akshaya has built his career across diverse sectors including manufacturing, retail and insurance. He holds a bachelor degree in chemical engineering and a master's in human resource. Recently recognized as a top 20 diversity champion large enterprise 2024, he is also a certified assessor in Thomas profiling and Hogan assessments. Akshaya is committed to cultivating a culture of excellence, positioning Future Generali as an employer of choice. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. So the session today is on building resilient workforce, fostering mental and emotional agility across employees. Something which is spoken of, something which many organizations have done or are operating upon. But my practical experience has been that it's pretty unorganized. So when I talk of it, I'll try to first of all understand what basically we mean by resilience first of all. So what's resilience? Resilience is the ability to bounce back from challenges, adapt to the change, and maintain a positive outlook to the face of adversity. And what's the dictionary meaning of it? Pretty easy to understand. Why is it important today? It's important because it increases the workplace demands. There are rapid changes, economic uncertainty, global events. All these and many more require greater mental and emotional agility. Now, what can a resilient workforce do? It typically helps the organization to get better, and the workforce is better adaptable to challenges, bounce back from setbacks, and maintain productivity. The next one typically talks about broadly what are the 6 main benefits of having a pretty resilient workforce. You have an increased employee engagement score, better productivity, enhance innovation, creativity, reduce absenteeism, and blah 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 blah. So I can just go on with this because that's a bit of theory around it, and you can find most of it on internet. You can find on the website very easily. What's important is what are the components of a resilient workforce. One, the mental agility. The second, the emotional agility. I'm sorry, there's some overlap. Why that being the case? What are the 4 pillars towards it? Self-awareness, emotional regulation, flexibility, and optimism. Now, again, that's important. I think it's important to understand what's written over here, that mental health is not a destination, but a process. It's about how you drive, not where you are going. Because that's important, and this is where the discussions will proceed from here on. Some facts before we get further into it. I'm sure that we all agree that we go through some sort of mental health issues, if I'm to say so, or emotional traumas, if it might not be to that level of extent. But we all go through it, at least once in 5 years. That's at least what the research says. At least I go through it pretty frequently around that. I mean, 1 in 5 times, whatever. The other facts are employers supported in their mental and emotional health, and this leads to better productivity. Known fact, companies prioritize mental health support, attract, retain. I mean, whichever prioritize, it helps them. Again, known fact, promoting mental health and emotional well-being forces a positive work environment. Again, known fact. So just facts, just reiterating that. What are practices that exist across organizations? In order to enable better work-life balance, there are flexible working hours, mandatory work off, mental health time offs. Most of this done by our organization. done by most of our organizations today. Employee assistance programs, you have pretty large number of EAP partners today to help out with the same. Community building, so we have started out with something called Hobby Tribe within the organization. Now this is again something like a platter of engagement drivers where people can participate in. So Hobby Tribe is one of them. And then celebrating small wins, whatever it may be. So these are all typically a platter of events or platter of activities that an organization can do through. But these are all generic solutions. Now how would you feel that you go to a doctor and tell him that I'm down with fever? And the doctor says, okay, these are the 5 medicines that I have in front of you. Which of these would you like to take? Would you ever trust a doctor thereafter? No, right? Now, this is exactly what's happening in the mental health space today, or the emotional health space today. Whenever we reach out to somebody and we ask them that my guys are going through something, the simplest solution to that is we have a series of events, ask them to pick up whatever they wish for. I definitely would know that I'm down with fever, right? But I do not know the medicine to that. Hence, there is a need to measure. It's important to know that what's my pulse. It's important to know what's my blood count. It's important to know what is my statistics. It's important to know that I'm being measured. It's only then that then the action on mental and emotional well-being can be taken care of. But measure what? Measure input, measure in process, and measure outcome. So the measure of inputs are by regularly conducting surveys. You need not run your long engagement surveys. It could be dipsticks. Understand what the pulse of the organization. While you talk of pulse, it needs to be around the pulse of the organization in terms of the mental well-being, in terms of emotional well-being of the organization, of people, of teams, and their take actions. Then, in process, that is to monitor how is it going on. Look at my absenteeism rate, look at my other drivers which are indicative of what's happening in the organization. And then my outcome, typically looking at how does the productivity look like, how is it against the overall organization objectives. Just to give you a sample, this is a sample of one of the models that I've seen through. It talks about emotions and it measures emotions into 2 categories as positive emotions and negative emotions. The positive emotions being happiness, calm, admiration, trust, content, and hope. Negative emotions being fear, greed, disgust, anger, and sadness. The model encourages people of the organization or people in general to participate in it and then share how do you feel today. Right? While that being the case, there is no correlation between positive and negative though. It does impact, but there is no direct correlation at all. So, for example, happiness could be sadness. The opposite of that could be the counter emotion for happiness is sadness. The counter emotion for calm is anger, and blah blah. So what does a model typically help to? So if it's an organization, then for an individual of an organization, you get to know a trend. How has my emotions moved over a period of time? How have these set of 6 emotions or set of 6 pairs of emotions moved over the last few months, few weeks, and blah blah? And then identify what are the factors of influence. The factors of influence could be personal or professional. Further breaking down, then it could be personal because of belief and blah blah blah, and then the professional could be people, resources, the role, the organization philosophy, policy, or whatever it may be. So this is what I was talking about, the ability to first measure, understand what is the factor of influence, and then take the next action towards that. Similarly, another sort of models that can be that exist in the market today are around now this is around mental health or mental well-being. So one is a depression, anxiety, and stress survey or the DASH survey. The other is around ABC model, which talks about emotions, actions, and thinking. Right. There's something else which talks around similarly of 12 factors of mental health. So around a similar thing, 12 mental health factors. Link it back to the organization, understand how does your team, every team manager score, understand. So similar to an engagement score, you have a mental health score over here, you understand how does the team perform, the department perform, or the department show in terms of mental health actions, and thereby take up action, take the corrective actions accordingly. Then this is what I would say as the medicines to the identified problems are more prescriptive thereafter. Could be more prescriptive. Something like, just to give an example, these are the 12 factors. Again, the 12 factors, the different medications, yoga therapy, meditation, laughter yoga, and blah blah. In a general sense, what we generally observe is that we offer these things, ask your people to do whatever they want to, and then it is expected for a sick person to pick up that, okay, yoga is the best thing for me, or somebody else who is equally unknown to what the facts are and coming and advising you what is to be done. So over here, the attempt from these models have been that you measure them, look at what fits in best, and then suggest what is right for them. So just to summarize, success of a company is directly proportionate to the resilience and agility. Employees are the most coveted USP of an organization. Employee productivity is a key driver for organization performance, and engaged workforce ensures consistency and consistent and continual productivity. Mental and emotional well-being are the integral part of engagement, and measuring inputs in all the three dimensions of inputs. Measuring in all three dimensions of input, in process, and outcome are extremely important to finally arrive at what is a corrective action to be taken by an organization. So this is that I feel is would take care of the overall organization well-being and thereby the productivity enhancement of an organization. Thank you for that. I hope I've written.
Thank you so much for the insightful session, and I would like to call upon stage Ms. Manisha Prasad, Regional Director and Head Human Resource India and South Asia at GRIF India. Please put your hands together for Ms. Manisha.